Have you ever really stopped to think about all the jobs that have just vanished? It's easy to overlook, but looking back at these lost professions is way more than just a history lesson. It actually shows us this incredible pattern about technology, progress, and, what might be just around the corner for all of us.
This quote just paints a picture, doesn't it? It drops you right into a world that feels so different, but also kind of familiar. It was a time when your daily life was shaped not by an app, but by real people you saw every single day.
So let's start right there, with the jobs that were literally part of the daily rhythm of a community. These weren't just services you paid for, they were the heartbeat of the neighborhood.
I mean, how amazing is this? Before there were alarm clocks, your wake-up call was a person. A real person, with a long stick, whose only job was to make sure you got to your job on time. It was a system built entirely on human reliability. Simple as that.
Just try to imagine this. Every single evening, as it started to get dark, this one person would walk the streets, bringing light to the city, one lamp at a time. The lamplighter was basically a guardian of the night, a symbol of safety. And then, with the flick of an electric switch, poof, the entire profession just gone.
Oh, the milkman. He wasn't just a delivery guy. He was a part of your morning routine. He knew your family's order without even asking, and you trusted him. This whole job was built on a personal connection and a kind of community trust that feels pretty rare today.
And that, of course, brings us to the great disruptor. This is where we start to see how technology and automation began to systematically and methodically replace these very human jobs.
You can really see the acceleration on this timeline. First, the lino-type machine completely changes printing. Fast forward to the 50s, and suddenly bowling alleys don't need pinboys anymore. By the 60s, switchboard operators are replaced. And by the 2000s, digital projectors make the film projectionist a thing of the past. Each new machine did one thing perfectly, and each time, a human job became obsolete.
Let's just talk about the switchboard operator for a second. These people were the original social network. In a small town, they knew everyone and everyone. The job took incredible focus, a steady hand, and a personal touch that was just completely wiped out by direct dial technology.
So none of this was an accident. Every single one of these technological leaps was about one thing: efficiency, making things faster, better, cheaper. But as these machines got better, you have to wonder, what did we trade away in the process?
And that leads us to a really interesting question. Yeah, we gain a ton of speed and convenience, but we definitely lost something too. Something intangible, We lost a certain kind of human interaction.
This chart just makes it so clear. On one side, you have the milkman, personal, routine, built on trust. On the other side, you've got the supermarket, anonymous, efficient, and purely transactional. We basically swapped a daily relationship for a quick, impersonal purchase.
Or think about the elevator operator. Their job wasn't just to push a button, it was about providing a moment of service, maybe a polite good morning, and a sense of safety. They turned a boring ride in a metal box into a small, human experience. Now we just have a button and a robotic voice.
This really makes you think, right? Every time you use a self-checkout or talk to an automated customer service bot or order food through an app, what are the tiny, daily human connections that we're giving up for that convenience? Okay, so we've talked about the familiar jobs. Now, let's get weird. We're going to shift gears to jobs that are so bizarre or dangerous, they feel like they're from another planet. These really show you just how much society has changed.
Yep, you heard that right. This was a real job. People, often women, would actually walk into swamps and let leeches attach to their own legs. Then they'd sell them to doctors for bloodletting. It's just a wild reminder of how brutal and, misguided medicine used to be.
Before radar existed, this was it. This was your air defense. Soldiers would sit for hours with these giant horns strapped to their heads, just listening for the faint sound of an enemy plane. The safety of a whole city could rest on what they heard. And then radar came along, and poof, gone overnight.
All right, and now for the grimmest one of all, resurrectionists, otherwise known as body snatchers. Their job was to literally dig up freshly buried bodies and sell them to medical schools for dissection. It's horrifying, but it also tells a story about a time when the demand for scientific knowledge was way ahead of the law.
So, when you look at all these jobs, the personal ones, the ones replaced by machines, the truly bizarre ones, you see this clear pattern of change and replacement. So the question here isn't really about the past, it's about realizing the cycle is still going, and it's probably going faster than ever. So what do all these lessons from the past really tell us about the future of our own jobs? Let's take a look at how these echoes from history are starting to sound a lot like what's happening right now, especially with AI.
And this isn't science fiction anymore. Experts are pointing to jobs that we think of as totally normal today, data analysts, writers, even graphic designers, and saying that AI and automation are about to seriously shake things up. The next wave of change isn't coming, it's already here.
But hey, the lesson here isn't to be scared. It's to be prepared. Just like this slide says, the key is to get proactive. Figure out what you're good at, the human stuff like critical thinking and creative problem solving. Always be learning. It's not just a good idea anymore, it's pretty much the essential strategy to stay ahead of the game.
So we'll end with this. Just like the job of a knocker-upper seems crazy to us, what jobs that we do today will seem just as strange to people 50 years from now? A truck driver? A radiologist? Maybe even a content creator? If history teaches us anything, it's that the only thing you can count on is change.